Hi there, this is Ira Weinstein from Recon Research, and today we are talking about to cloud or not to cloud your communications platform. Just a few seconds about Recon Research. We are a new kind of research and advisory firm. We're customer-based and experience-driven. Now, a quick recap from our prior discussion on this subject of UC for small to medium firms. There are many benefits associated with SMBs using a UC solution. Technically speaking, UC is the concept of making your communication systems available within a single user interface. Sure, we could get more complex. We could talk about integrations, databases, gateways, protocols, things like that, but that's kind of the technical side. I want to focus more on the value side of the discussion. For us, UC is a way of working. It's a mindset, an attitude. It's the idea that making your people available, accessible, and productive, letting them add value wherever they are, easily and quickly, that's the path to success. UC is absolutely about people. And in the UC world, work is an activity, not a location. It happens anywhere and at any time. And UC technology is a major enabler behind the UC mindset. Let's talk about the key benefits of unified communications. There's a huge number of them. Improved access to your staff, the ability to include and leverage remote workers and teams, increased agility for your organization, faster decision-making, a better work-life balance. We could go on and on. I especially like the HR benefits that UC technology brings. But the real takeaway here is that unifying your communication saves you time, saves you money, saves you stress, and it helps you get the best out of the most important asset you have in your organization, and that's your people. That's the power of UC. Now the question here comes, should we cloud or not cloud our unified communications? But we need to think about this in a couple different ways. First, I understand this is a confusing discussion. It's not just messaging, but it's features and functions and a lot of industry hype. People are talking about integrations and partnerships and creative business models. In the end, it's kind of hard to tell what really matters and what's really happening behind the curtain. So it's hard to know what makes the most sense for your company. First, let's talk about deployment options. And whenever I can, I try to simplify things. From a 10,000-foot view, you really only have 3 deployment options. The first is an on-premise deployment. That would be behind your firewall on your premise. A cloud-based deployment, so hosted elsewhere. Or a hybrid deployment, which is a mix of the two. But notice something, and this is important. Cloud is a deployment option. It is not the solution itself. Sometimes people forget that. They try to sell or promote their cloud service. What they should be promoting is their offering that they're deploying through the cloud. So remember that. Cloud is a deployment option. It is not a solution itself. Let's talk about the on-premise deployment first. Yes, there are times when an on-premise deployment makes sense. To be clear, we are major fans of cloud solutions, but sometimes on-prem is the right choice. For example, if you have an existing and recent, still on the books kind of infrastructure investment, why not use it on-premise? Perhaps you have a preference for a capital expense versus an operating expense financial model. That's fine. Or if you have very unique specific requirements, whether that's features, customization, integration, in those cases, an on-premise deployment might make perfect sense for your organization. Now, to be clear, an on-premise deployment is not perfect. It typically brings quite a bit of baggage with it. It brings cost baggage, a lot of burden and management, stress. You need expertise, and also you have a risk of system and feature obsolescence. So on-prem has benefits, and on-prem has a lot of risks and issues and baggage associated with it. Now, a bit of a sanity check. Here at Recon Research, we absolutely have clients who remain very focused on on-premise solutions. And that's just fine. But usually it's a specific type of client with a specific type of requirement. For example, they're large organizations with a very large internal support staff and a specific use case. Telehealth, for example. Very often it's a government agency or a military agency that's focused on security and wants to keep everything on their network. And sometimes the clients are just biding time. They're waiting for their contracts to expire or for their equipment to fall off the books. So frankly, most of our clients who are on-premise are planning to go cloud or they're on their way to cloud. But again, it doesn't mean on-premise is not possible. Think that way. But don't take our word for it. Listen to the data. 94% of the respondents to this survey from RightScale said that they're using cloud solutions. 91% are using a public or shared cloud for at least some of their applications. And on average, companies are using 5 different cloud services. So what does this tell you? Cloud is happening. Even SMBs run 43% of their workloads in public clouds today. So we believe cloud is important, but the data speaks for itself. Now, why should you go cloud for unified communications? That is the critical question. First of all, and I love this one, short time to benefit. It's almost immediate. Most of our clients find that they can be up and running within a day. Often, the benefits begin within a few minutes. Sure, I know it will take longer for you to roll it out to your team, and maybe you'll want to customize and integrate it a bit, but the benefits begin almost immediately. No complexity, no technology. You just load the app and you start communicating. That's a major benefit to going cloud. Next, quick access to new features. And this is one of the best things about communication technology, is that it's always growing, always changing, evolving, and improving. And as an industry, we're learning all the time, and that comes through with new features and functionality. Now, in many cases, especially with products you've purchased to deploy on your premise, it could take months or years for you to roll out these new features. So the capabilities exist, you just can't give them to your people yet. Sometimes it's because of technical resource requirements, or maybe it's support requirements. It doesn't really matter. But with a cloud offering, someone else is dealing with all that burden. You can roll these features quickly and easily to your people. Next, flexibility and agility. You can add new features when you want. You can add new users when you want. You choose when to do that. There's nothing more to buy, nothing more to deploy. You simply change what your package looks like or your offering looks like on the fly. Now, when you deploy a product, you buy what you buy. You have what you have. With a cloud service, you can enable and disable other things on the fly as you wish. That's some amazing flexibility. So this is important, especially today. Not a week goes by without some news article about security breaches and data breaches. When you use a cloud service, you have the peace of mind knowing that these UC providers have massive teams of people who spend all their time living and breathing UC security. That's what they do. They have the best tools, they have the best training, and they are focused on this task. So to be clear, I understand that every organization spends time on its security. The UC providers have teams who do it all day long, and they know how to do their jobs. You can enjoy strong security through the UC solutions. Next, scalability. And it's not just scalability, it's scalability when you need it. Now, capacity is a major concern for many companies, and the way they usually solve this with their technology is they buy something bigger, more powerful, more capacity. This, of course, increases cost. Now, with a cloud offering, you don't have to do that. The provider takes care of the capacity. You simply pay for what you use when you use it. That's simple, that's easy, and someone else deals with the cost and the burden of making that scalability available to you. So scalability, but when you need it. Next, risk management and obsolescence protection. When I think about a UC deployment and I help clients choose the right solution, the questions I ask are, will the solution work after we deploy it? How long will it take before it starts providing value? Are there issues that we won't be able to resolve? Are we driving on new ground here? Are we learning how to do something that others haven't done before? Did I think of everything I need? Do I need to buy more tools and more systems? And then, of course, there's vendor risk. Will the company we bought this from even exist 3 years from now? And then the other question is obsolescence protection. Will the toy we bought now be outdated in a year or two? Now, when you outsource this, when you go to the cloud, you eliminate all of these concerns and issues. Risk management, obsolescence protection, that's a big benefit of going cloud. Next, the ability to service all of your people, no matter where they are, different locations, different networks, whether you're using different devices, it doesn't matter. The cloud services are designed from the ground up to be accessible to everybody. When you deploy something yourself internally, you have to work to make it available. The cloud services make it available from day one to everybody. Next is decreased management and staffing burden. Now, this is really more of an outsourcing discussion because with a cloud service, you are outsourcing the burden and responsibility of the technology to others. So what does that mean? Other people manage it day to day. Other people provide the 24/7 support that your users expect. This reduces your staffing cost, reduces your training cost, reduces your HR burden. But most importantly, and if you leave here with one thing in mind, please remember this. Cloud services and UC technology lets your company focus on what you do for a living. Law firms should focus on the law and supporting their clients. Accounting firms should focus on accounting and the financials and the books. This is especially critical for small to medium companies because frankly, we don't have extra resources. We can't afford to be distracted. We need to focus on what we do. UC, and especially cloud UC, UCaaS solutions, let you focus on what you do for a living. So, last point here, dramatically reduced cost, TCO. So this is not just reduced upfront cost, because the cloud allows you to avoid a lot of the upfront costs associated with communication. This is about a reduced cost of ownership, purchase, maintenance, servers, network, technical support staff, upgrades, capacity. Mix this all together, you will enjoy the communication benefits with a reduced TCO. More often than not, that's how the calculation comes out. So reduced cost. Now, what's the catch? Nothing is perfect. So what do you give up if you choose to go cloud with your unified communications? And there are a few points. First of all, you'll have a reduced ability to customize the platform, right? You will have some customization options, but perhaps not in every area that you might want. In addition, you have a bit of a loss of control. For example, you may not be able to decide when new features and functions are deployed. You may not be able to customize every element of the user interface. But to be fair, that's also part of the bliss and benefit of outsourcing, that you don't have to make those decisions and do the work. Now, moving further, you may have a loss of some visibility into the back end, because frankly, you'll only get the information the provider provides you for troubleshooting, for analytics, for reporting. But again, most people see that as a good thing. They can see what they need to see, but somebody else digs into the minutia. But you should hear one thing very critically here. You need to choose your partner wisely. You're depending on and trusting this partner. That's the outsource model. So pick your partner wisely and these gotchas will be minimized, or they may actually be advantages. So let's summarize this, where the rubber meets the road. UC is a technology and a mindset, a way of working, a way of bringing your people to bear so they can add value. UC brings many significant benefits. UC unified communication tools can be deployed on-premise or on the cloud. And there are times when an on-premise deployment does make sense, but for most companies, for most people, the cloud approach or the cloud deployment is more compelling. And please remember, when you go cloud, when you outsource anything, you must always choose your partner carefully. That will be a key part of your future success in that initiative. Closing this out. Today, in the communication world, everything is about change. We're changing what we used to do into what we need to do to be successful tomorrow. And I'd like to remind you that when it comes to change, it's not the strongest that survives or thrives. It's also not the most intelligent. It's the company, the people who are adaptable to that change, who embrace that change, and who enjoy the power that the change brings. So please keep that in mind. Change empowers. And in this case, changing your communication methodology will bring new opportunities, new benefits. And that is a way to not just survive, that is a way to thrive in the new business environment. This is Ira Weinstein. Thank you very much. Have a great day.